I am Iron Man. 4 words that changed everything. The MCU succeeded because it gave us genuine character growth that actually matters. Today we're ranking the 10 transformations that didn't just entertain us, they changed who these heroes are and changed us as viewers. From selfish billionaires to gods of sacrifice, these are the character arcs that prove the MCU is a masterclass in long-term storytelling. What's up, multiverse? Welcome back to another dive into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today we're doing something different. We're not talking about power levels, we're not ranking fight scenes, and we're definitely not getting into Phase 4 discourse. Well, maybe a little. Instead, we're looking at the MCU's greatest achievement, turning comic book characters into real, breathing, evolving human beings over the course of 15 years and 30-plus movies. But here's the catch. Not all character development is created equal, and these rankings are completely subjective. Your number 1 might be my number 5, and that's what makes these discussions so much fun. The 10 characters we're covering today went on journeys that fundamentally changed who they were at their core. These arcs didn't just span movies, they spanned our lives. So buckle up because we're about to get emotional. Starting our list at number 10 is an arc that proves the MCU's greatest strength, taking C-list comic characters and making them absolutely essential. Nebula's journey from genocidal cyborg to Avenger is one of the most quietly brilliant transformations in the entire franchise. When we first meet Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, she's consumed by jealousy and rage, literally replacing parts of herself trying to become better than Gamora. But her arc across Guardians 2, Infinity War, and especially Endgame shows us someone learning that being enough doesn't mean being perfect. By Endgame, Nebula isn't just an Avenger, she's the heart of the Time Heist team. Her friendship with Tony Stark, her sisterly relationship with Gamora, and her ability to show compassion to her past self in the final battle represents growth that's both deeply personal and universally relatable. Plus, Karen Gillan deserves more credit for making us care about a character who's primarily CGI and prosthetics. At number 9, we have the most tragic arc in the MCU. Wanda Maximoff's journey spans the entire franchise timeline, from vengeful terrorist in Age of Ultron to reluctant Avenger in Civil War to the woman who had to kill the love of her life in Infinity War, only to watch Thanos undo that sacrifice minutes later. What makes Wanda's arc so compelling is that it doesn't follow the typical redemption playbook. WandaVision showed us that even heroes can become villains when their pain becomes too much to bear. Her grief over Vision doesn't make her stronger, it breaks her in ways that feel genuinely human. Her descent into darkness in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness felt earned because we'd watched 15 years of loss pile up on her shoulders, her parents, her brother, her home country, Vision, her children, everything. She reminds us that power without a support system is just destruction waiting to happen. Coming in at number 8 is proof that healing isn't linear. Bucky Barnes' transformation from loyal friend to brainwashed assassin to someone trying to figure out who he is represents one of the most realistic portrayals of PTSD in the superhero genre. Bucky's arc spans from the first Avenger through the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, including his time healing in Wakanda between Civil War and Infinity War. What's brilliant is that his journey doesn't end with him getting better. Even after Shuri helps remove his programming, he's still wrestling with guilt and learning how to be human again. His relationship with Sam Wilson becomes the foundation for his recovery, but the show acknowledged that some wounds don't fully heal, they just become part of who you are. Bucky's arc isn't about returning to who he was, it's about accepting who he's become. Sebastian Stan has been carrying this character's pain for over a decade, and his performance makes every moment feel earned. Now we're getting to the heavy hitters. At number 7, we have an arc about breaking cycles of abuse and finding family in the most unlikely places. Gamora's transformation from Thanos' weapon to Guardian of the Galaxy is a story about choosing love over loyalty, even when that choice costs everything. What makes Gamora's arc powerful is how it explores the complexity of abusive relationships. Her journey from the first Guardians through Infinity War shows someone gradually learning to trust, to love, and to choose her found family over her biological father. Her sacrifice in Infinity War is heartbreaking because it represents her final rejection of everything Thanos tried to make her. The Soul Stone requires sacrificing what you love most, and Thanos' ability to complete that sacrifice proves Gamora succeeded in becoming someone worth loving, even as it dooms her. Zoe Saldana brought incredible depth to a character who could have been just another warrior woman, and we're still processing the emotional whiplash of having a different Gamora in the current timeline. Number 6 goes to the original Avenger, whose arc was told in whispers and shadows until we finally got her full story. Black Widow's journey from Russian spy to Avenger to someone willing to sacrifice everything for her chosen family is about redemption through action, not words. Natasha's arc works because it's built on the understanding that some people don't get happy endings, but they can still choose to be heroes. Across Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, she's constantly trying to balance the red in her ledger. The Black Widow movie finally gave us the context we needed, showing us that her greatest skill wasn't espionage or combat, it was creating family connections, even in impossible circumstances. Her relationships with Yelena, Alexei, and Melina prove that family is about choice, not blood. Her sacrifice on Vormir isn't just about saving the universe. It's about a woman who never believed she deserved love, proving she's worthy of the ultimate sacrifice. Scarlett Johansson carried this character for over a decade with incredible consistency and depth. At number 5, we have the most relatable superhero journey in the MCU. Tom Holland's Spider-Man proves that growing up is the hardest superpower to master, and his arc spans 3 solo films, plus his appearances in Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Peter's journey from starstruck teenager trying to impress Tony Stark in Homecoming to literally fighting his mentor's mistakes in Far From Home to sacrificing his entire identity in No Way Home shows us someone learning that being a hero isn't about having the coolest tech. It's about making the right choice even when it costs everything. The No Way Home ending is devastating because it strips away everything that made this version unique. The Stark tech, the Avengers connections, Aunt May, his best friend, his girlfriend, and leaves him with just the core lesson of Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, and responsibility means sacrifice. His choice to have everyone forget Peter Parker exists is the most selfless act in the MCU because it's purely about saving others, not glory or recognition. Moving into our top 4, we have the man out of time whose arc teaches us that doing the right thing sometimes means breaking the rules you've sworn to uphold. Steve Rogers' journey from the first Avenger through Endgame is about learning that symbols can become prisons, and sometimes you have to choose between being Captain America and being Steve Rogers. Steve's arc works because it gradually deconstructs everything we think we know about patriotism and heroism. From discovering S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra in Winter Soldier, to going rogue in Civil War, to becoming a literal fugitive by Infinity War, each film challenges his faith in institutions. His greatest character trait, his unwillingness to compromise his morals, eventually puts him at odds with everything he originally stood for. By Infinity War, he's operating outside the law because the law has failed. His ending in Endgame isn't selfish, it's human. Steve Rogers spent a century putting everyone else first. His final choice to live his own life isn't a betrayal of his character, it's the completion of his journey from symbol to person. Bronze medal goes to the god who learned to be human. Thor's transformation from arrogant prince in his first film to true king by Love and Thunder is the MCU's most dramatic character overhaul, spanning every aspect of development across 8 films. Thor learns humility in his first film, loses his family across the trilogy, finds new family with the Avengers, gains new powers in Ragnarok, loses his home and half his people, becomes depressed and struggles with PTSD in Endgame, and finally learns that being worthy isn't about strength, it's about compassion. What makes Thor's arc brilliant is that Taika Waititi's Ragnarok completely reinvented this character while honoring everything that came before. The God of Thunder becomes someone who understands that true power comes from protecting others, not ruling them. Even Love and Thunder continues this growth, showing us a Thor who's learned to balance power with vulnerability, strength with emotional intelligence. Chris Hemsworth transformed what could have been the most one-note Avenger into the most emotionally complex character in the franchise. Our silver medal goes to the arc that started it all. Tony Stark's transformation from selfish arms dealer to the man who snapped his fingers to save the universe is the backbone of the entire MCU and spans 11 films from Iron Man through Endgame. What makes Tony's arc incredible is that every single film builds on his core journey, learning to be selfless. From the cave in Afghanistan where he builds the first suit, to his decision to reveal his identity, to his willingness to carry a nuke through a portal, to mentoring Peter Parker, to his ultimate sacrifice, each movie strips away another layer of ego until we reach the man underneath. The genius of his development is that it addresses his fundamental character flaw, narcissism, through increasingly higher stakes. He learns to care about collateral damage, then to work with a team, then to sacrifice for others, and finally to sacrifice everything while remaining completely Tony Stark until the end. His last words, "And I am Iron Man," bookend the entire MCU perfectly. He doesn't just become a hero, he becomes the hero who makes the ultimate sacrifice while staying true to who he always was: brilliant, arrogant, and absolutely convinced he's right. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just play Tony Stark, he built the foundation for everything that followed, and somehow they stuck the landing perfectly. And our number one spot goes to the character arc that literally broke the multiverse and redefined what redemption can look like. Loki's journey from one-dimensional villain in Thor to the man who holds all of reality together is the MCU's most ambitious and emotionally complex character study. What makes Loki's arc the greatest is its scope. Spanning 6 films and 2 seasons of television across multiple timelines and versions of himself, his transformation from villain to anti-hero to genuine hero to cosmic savior is unprecedented in superhero storytelling. The Loki series gave us something revolutionary: a villain's complete perspective on heroism. We watched him learn empathy by seeing other versions of himself, fall in love with Sylvie, lose everything multiple times, and gradually understand that freedom isn't about ruling, it's about choosing to serve others. His final choice to become the living foundation of the multiverse, alone for eternity but ensuring everyone else gets to choose their own path, is the most heroic act in MCU history. He goes from someone who desperately wanted to be king to someone who gave up everything to be a guardian. What makes this arc perfect is that it earns every moment. From his first death fake out in Dark World, to his real sacrifice in Infinity War, to his ultimate transformation in the series finale, every choice builds toward a character who learns that love isn't about possession, it's about letting go. Tom Hiddleston has been playing variations of this character for over a decade, and his final performance as Loki, choosing infinite solitude to save infinite possibilities, is both devastating and perfect. It's character development on a literally cosmic scale. Before we wrap up, let's give some love to the arcs that just missed our list. Rocket Raccoon's journey from angry loner to Guardian family man deserves recognition, especially after Guardians 3 finally gave us his heartbreaking backstory. Sam Wilson's evolution from military vet to the new Captain America shows us what heroism looks like when you don't have super soldier serum but have the heart of a true leader. Vision's short but profound arc about learning to be human while being artificial intelligence gave us some of the MCU's most philosophical moments before his tragic end. Scott Lang proved that you don't need a tragic backstory to be a hero. Sometimes you just need to be a good dad willing to step up when the world needs saving. Each of these characters grew meaningfully, but our top 10 represent the absolute pinnacle of character development. So there you have it, the 10 MCU character arcs that actually matter, at least in my completely subjective opinion. What makes these stories special isn't just that they're well written, it's that they prove superhero storytelling can be as deep and meaningful as any other form of narrative art. These arcs work because they're fundamentally human stories dressed up in superhero costumes. They deal with real issues: trauma, family, identity, sacrifice, redemption, and growth. They show us that change is possible, that people can overcome their worst instincts, and that heroism isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing to grow even when growth is painful. Look, your rankings are probably different from mine. Maybe you think Tony should be number one, or Thor deserves the top spot, or I completely missed your favorite character's development. That's exactly what makes the MCU special. These characters are complex enough to mean different things to different people. What do you think? Did we get it right, or are we completely wrong about your favorite character? I know that Iron Man at number 2 might cause some feedback, and I get that. Let us know in the comments which MCU character arc hits you the hardest, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the multiverse of mayhem. And hey, if this video made you emotional about any of these characters again, you're definitely not alone. Thinking again about the epic ending with Iron Man in that moment, snapping away Thanos, still hits all the feels. Well, until next time, keep exploring the multiverse, and remember, some stories are worth the wait.